Hello, everybody, and welcome to another stream. I am Professor Roadblock, and I am so glad that you are with me here tonight. I think we have an awesome stream planned ahead. So let me break down what we are doing tonight, and then we will get right on into it. As I go ahead and break things down, I'm going to open with the same question I always do. How's it going, chat? How we doing tonight? The holiday season is upon us. Many of us are finishing up school and working, ready to take a well-deserved break. So how are we doing here? I also wanted to start things off. You can probably notice that there's some video game remix music in the background. Now, I am clear to use this music on streams. I've made sure I've gotten permission for that. I've done it for previous streams as well, but I need to make sure that I properly credit the source. So our YouTube channel tonight is once again Game Chops Video Game Study Lounge. So there's a link to their channel, and I will probably be posting that several times here throughout the evening. And let me flip over to our screen so you guys can see me and see what's going on. So let's see. Right now it is looking for a game to capture, which is fine. It should be showing something though, and it is not. Let me see what is going on here. It is supposed to be displaying something on the screen right now. And you know what? I tested this last night and it worked. Let's see if this channel works. Nope. What about this one? That one's not working either. Fantastic. Give me just a second. Okay, let's try this. You should now be able to see that YouTube channel up on the screen. But what we are going to do here in just a second is we are going to flip over to our tier list. So the first thing that we are going to do tonight, this is a donation incentive that kind of was a donation incentive that we didn't know about. I didn't even know about. So to give you guys a quick recap, I've been raising money all month for charity. I've been raising money for Mental Health America. And if you guys look at the bar on the top of the screen, you'll notice that we are at, I believe it is $1,018. My initial goal was $100 for Mental Health America, but last Wednesday when we were streaming, we had a larger Twitch streamer come in who was working with Tiltify, which is the platform that I'm using to raise money on, and they ended up rating our chat and giving us over $1,000 or almost $1,000 in donations, absolutely smashing that goal. And so I only have the goal of getting to 100, which is a holiday game stream, which we will be doing tonight/Wednesday. But I thought, man, $1,000 is worthy of something. I can't possibly do that justice. I didn't even have goals beyond 100 because I thought we have to reach that bridge first. However, I tried to come up with some things, and I thought one of the things that might be fun would be doing a Tiermaker list of classic Christmas movies, right? So I figured that'd be a good journey for you guys to come along with me on. You know, I might make a couple of you upset if I'm dunking on one of your favorite movies, or if I talk about a movie that you, or if there's a movie on here that I've never seen that I can't really talk much about. We'll be doing that in a moment. Before we do that, I do want to give everybody a couple of more links here real quick. So first of all, my charity is still going until Wednesday night. So at the conclusion of Wednesday's stream, we will shut down the charity event. Now, you'll notice there is another new goal at the top. So my new goal is $1,100, which we are about $80 away from. And if we hit that $1,100, then my wife said that she'd be willing to play Fortnite on stream with me. And now her and I have been playing a lot of Fortnite the last month or so off stream. She plays on the PlayStation right over my shoulder, and I play on PC. But she said if we can hit that donation goal of $1,100 before the end of Wednesday's stream, then she would be willing to hop on and play. And then so we'll be streaming from my perspective, but my wife and I would be playing duos together. So if you want to see me and my wife playing some Fortnite duos, and why wouldn't you want to see that? Then keep donating for charity and see if we can get just another $80 or so towards Mental Health America. And if you want to help out, the link to help out is getting posted in chat right now. Should be right there. And I think with that, we are going to go ahead and get started. There's one more thing I will share with you guys, which we'll get into in just a little while. So let's go ahead and turn down the music here a little bit so we can focus on what's going on. And we might turn that back up here in a little bit. But let's talk about these movies. So before we go ahead and rank them, let's quickly run through what we have. We have a Charlie Brown Christmas, Bad Santa, A Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation, Christmas with the Cranks, Die Hard, Edward Scissorhands, 8 Crazy Nights, Elf, Ernest Saves Christmas, Four Christmases, Frosty the Snowman, Home Alone 1 and 2, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, looks like the classic animated version, It's a Wonderful Life, Jingle All the Way, Love Actually, Mickey's Christmas Carol, Nightmare Before Christmas, Rudolph, the Jim Carrey Grinch, The Holiday, The Muppets Christmas Carol, The Night Before, The Polar Express, Santa Claus 1, 2, and 3, The Year Without a Santa Claus, American Tail, Miracle on 34th Street, the original Harry Potter, one of the Lord of the Rings movies, Fred Claus, and Scrooge. Now, I did not create this tier list. I looked through several on Tiermaker and found one that I thought would be fun. And yes, this has a couple goofy movies in there, maybe some cause for argument. If we look at the list, we have S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, not a holiday movie, and don't know this one / haven't seen it. So I'm going to go through here, but please, this is one where I want you guys arguing with me in the chat. I'll tell you that you're wrong, but I want you guys telling me that you disagree with my choices or talking about these movies in chat, right? This is all about us interacting together. So let's go ahead and we're just going to go moving right down the list from left to right, which means that the first movie that we have is A Charlie Brown Christmas. Now, Charlie Brown Christmas, there are a couple of Charlie Brown or Peanuts classic holiday movies. You got The Great Pumpkin, you've got Thanksgiving, and you've got Charlie Brown Christmas. Now, out of those three, I always flip-flop. My family has a tradition where every year we watch each one of those. And I think that probably the Christmas one is my favorite one, although The Great Pumpkin is pretty good as well. All the adults giving Charlie Brown rocks and conspiring together is pretty cruel and kind of hilarious. But the heart of Charlie Brown Christmas, all right, is about how Christmas, even back in the era that this cartoon was made, Christmas has become way too commercialized, and Charlie Brown's depressed at Christmas time because his dog is commercializing it, his sister's commercializing it, all of the kids don't seem to really understand the value of Christmas until they come together at the end. Come on, that's a fantastic, timeless message. Charlie Brown's a classic. I reserve the right to move these as the list gets full, but we are going to start off by putting Charlie Brown in the A tier. I think Charlie Brown's going to start off in A tier. We'll see if he gets moved. All right. Tonal shift. The next movie up is Bad Santa. All right. So this is early 2000s movie featuring Billy Bob Thornton. He plays a mall Santa. It is a hilariously inappropriate movie. It's been years since I've seen it. I remember the raunchy humor being really funny when I first watched it. It's also got Lauren Graham in it. It's got this little kid in there that's really kind of stealing the show. This kid right here on the picture there. What do we think about this? I think this one kind of is hilarious in the way that it talks about like the life of a mall Santa and kind of a mall Santa that's really, really down on his luck. Again, it's been years since I've seen this one, but I remember really, really laughing at it when it came out. Probably a lot of the jokes haven't aged so well. A lot of the humor might be things that I look on now and go, ooh, but I do remember some sort of fondness of it. We have it in our stack of Christmas movies, but I'll be honest, I haven't watched it in years. So we're going to place this one probably in the C tier. All right. Looking at the next couple of movies in the list, we have Christmas Story and Christmas Vacation back to back. All right, I'm going to come out and say it. A Christmas Story, overrated. A Christmas Story is just, and I was talking to my wife about this earlier, A Christmas Story is not a good movie, okay? I don't care that they play it for 24 hours a day on Christmas. I don't care that it's got its moments, and don't get me wrong, Christmas Story has its moments, right? It's got getting your tongue stuck on the light pole. It's got shooting your eye out with a BB gun. It's got the lamp. Oh my gosh, it's got the lamp. It has the family going and eating Christmas dinner at the Chinese restaurant. It's got moments, but it's not a good movie, right? Like, I'm going to fight people on that. So, I know that that's a beloved classic. I know that they just are or have released a sequel to this after so many years. But I'm just gonna say, like, no movie is good enough to be put on a 24-hour loop and played on repeat over and over. Christmas movie or not, right? You guys name me one movie that they could put it on for 24 hours on a loop, and you'd be okay with that for those 24 hours, right? So Christmas Story is not that tier of movie. I don't care what people think, right? And I know some families will put it on in the background, and it'll be catching moments of it throughout Christmas Day or whatever. But again, you see those moments once, and you're good. So I'm gonna put Christmas Story in C tier. Sorry. All right. On the flip side, you've got I want to have somebody leave. Christmas Vacation. All right, Christmas Vacation. This is classic National Lampoon. Now, Chevy, your feelings on Chevy Chase aside, this movie probably again has some things that haven't aged the best, but overall, going off the same argument as Christmas Story, this movie has a lot of moments and a lot of really good quotes in it. But at the end of the day, like, this is one that I actually look forward to watching, and it's one of the few Christmas movies that I want to make sure that I get to see every single year that it comes around. And this is one of those ones where I feel like my wife and I will quote parts of this movie throughout the rest of the year, not just during Christmas time, right? And you've got so many great moments. You've got the cat, you've got cousin Eddie, you've got the sled, you've got the icicle going through the neighbor's house. You've got the whole rant at the end when Clark doesn't get his bonus. You have him getting trapped up in the attic when everybody goes Christmas shopping. There are just so many parts, and they all hang together and make a fun movie. One that I actually do want to sit down and watch, right? Like, I don't often want to be doing something else when this movie comes on. Sometimes we'll be wrapping Christmas presents or something, but like this one, I actually like to sit down and watch. So for me, Christmas Vacation is going in the S tier. All right. Next one we have Christmas with the Cranks. All right, this is one of the many, many Tim Allen Christmas movies. Uh, this is part of our Thanksgiving tradition to usher in the Christmas season. Watching Christmas Vacation, it should be. It should be. It's just a good one to watch. And I think I was probably 12 or 13 the first time I saw it, so maybe a little bit younger than I should have been. Christmas with the Cranks. I've seen this movie once a long time ago. I think my family watched it for New Year's. We have a New Year's tradition of making a bunch of junk food and watching movies until midnight. And I think this is one of the ones that we watched, or we watched on Christmas Eve one year. I don't know. I think it's got, oh gosh. Yep. I think Jamie Lee Curtis is the wife in the movie. I'll be honest, I don't remember much about this movie, but I also don't really remember it being good. Very, very forgettable for me. So I guess I'm gonna put this in like D tier, in that like it left such a non-impression on me that I couldn't even really tell you anything about it. And it definitely doesn't stand when I look at some of the Christmas classics that are on here. It doesn't hold a candle to those, in my opinion. All right. Somebody did it. There's some meme movies in here, right? Die Hard, the age-old internet debate. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Now, I'm gonna put this poll up in the chat because I actually want to hear this from you guys. So you guys should see this in just a moment. I want to know from you, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? I'll give my argument here in just a second, but let's see here. And we're gonna use this to argue for some other movies down the road. All right, we'll let this poll run for the next 3 minutes while we talk about the movie, but you should see this. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? It should be on the Twitch chat right now, okay? So I'll let people see this here, but I'm going to go ahead and jump on my little soapbox here, right? I love the original Die Hard movie. If we are going to debate whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie, then I think we need to look at how Christmas is involved in the movie, right? To me, a Christmas movie means that there's some sort of message or spirit to the movie that is about Christmas. Whether it's about Santa Claus, whether it's about the spirit of giving, whether it's about being kind to one another, family, whatever. If Christmas is the skin or the theme that's thrown on top of a movie, or it just happens to be a setting in which a movie takes place, I don't know that we can call it a Christmas movie, right? So, like for example, I've seen similar arguments about like whatever. There's a Tim Burton Batman movie. There's two of those, but one of them has some Christmassy type stuff going on, right? But I don't call that one a Christmas movie. And by a similar token, I love Die Hard, but to me, Die Hard is a really good action movie, right? You got young Bruce Willis, you got young Alan Rickman, great moments. The cop in that movie is fantastic, but Die Hard is not a holiday movie. Okay, sorry. So I love Die Hard, but it does not fall under there. And for the exact same reason, we're just going to move straight to Edward Scissorhands. And I'll be honest, I've only seen Edward Scissorhands once. Um, JJ Colade. If it has snow and winter themed shenanigans, it can be there. I respect your opinion, but I disagree with you. Um, but going along with this, Edward Scissorhands, right? I have only seen Edward Scissorhands once. I was probably in my middle school years. I was a little weirded out by it. I remember some snow in the movie. I don't remember if there was any actual Christmas messages or anything tied to the movie. So I'm just going to throw this one and also not a holiday movie. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, the next movie is Eight Crazy Nights. This is actually a movie that we talked about on last Wednesday's stream. Somebody had mentioned it, or I think I mentioned it when I was talking about holiday movies. And if I look at all the other movies on the list, I think this is the only Hanukkah movie on the list, right? So this was an early 2000s era Adam Sandler movie. So if you've seen one, you have seen them all, my friends. The thing that made this one a little bit different was that it was an animated film rather than a live action one, but it still got Adam Sandler and all of his friends. It's got Rob Schneider and all the other normal people in that troupe. And it is about Hanukkah, kind of. So Adam Sandler plays a character named Davy. Davy had a troubled past. Don't make me spend any more road bucks to sway the polls. All right, hold on. Before we move on, let me check it out. Let me check out where this poll's at. We've got so far, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? 4 people said no, so 67% say no. 2 say absolutely it is. So most of chat agrees with me that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. And it looks like actually a lot of that came from CJ contributing channel points here. So, let's see. We were talking about Eight Crazy Nights. So, character with a troubled past, recently out of jail, kind of down on his luck. He ends up working with a guy named Whitey. It's a Christmas movie for action lovers. Okay, all right. I mean, yeah, if you're an action movie fan and you want to watch a movie around the holidays, then I guess you don't have a lot of options. You've got something, I suppose, like Jingle All the Way is down this list that's kind of got some action stuff to it, but there aren't a lot of true holiday action movies. So if you're a big action fan, maybe you lump Die Hard in there. And again, I respect Die Hard. I love Die Hard. For me, Die Hard's not a Christmas movie. Let's see, Eight Crazy Nights. Again, I was talking about this the other day. Again, when I saw it as a kid, I thought it was flippin' hilarious. So much so that I got it as a stocking stuffer the year that it came out. It's one of those movies that has probably not aged very well over the years. I have watched it multiple times since then. I think the last time that I watched it was probably last year at about this time. Again, definitely some things that made me go, ooh, but overall, I still rather enjoyed it. That being said, is it a good movie? Probably not. A lot of those Adam Sandler ones are not the best of films, even though I really enjoy myself watching them and have some fun when I do it. It is a holiday movie. It is a Hanukkah movie. So I think we're gonna place Eight Crazy Nights in the C tier. Let's see. I don't know what makes something specifically a Christmas movie. Yeah, and that's kind of in the eye of the beholder, right? So I mean, that's up to you guys if you want to talk about what makes a Christmas movie. In my opinion, it has, like I said when Die Hard came up, for it to be a Christmas movie or a holiday movie, something about the story or the characters have to be about the holiday, right? Or the spirit of the holiday, or family, or giving, or Christmas, or Hanukkah, or whatever it is. To me, like I said, if it just happens to take place in a snowy setting, or there's holiday lights or Christmas trees or something in the background, that doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, make it a Christmas movie. I've also heard the argument that, oh, it's a Christmas movie. If it's a movie that you want to watch at Christmas time or the holiday time, and so that's where I think people make legitimate arguments about something like a Die Hard, right? Because a lot of people may watch it this time of year because it's set in New York City during Christmas time. But for me, it's gotta have a story or a message that's about Christmas or family, and that leads us to Elf. So, Elf is a movie that I never ever watched when it came out. I remember when it came out, I had a bunch of classmates at the time that absolutely adored this movie. We had a Christmas party one year, and there were lots of different activities that you could do, and there was a whole room of people that were watching Elf next door. I did not participate, I did not want to do that. I thought for the longest time that it looked like a silly, stupid movie, and I say that with the utmost respect for Will Ferrell and a lot of his movies. I love the stupid humor that's present in things like Step Brothers and Talladega Nights and stuff like that. But I just completely avoided Elf for the longest time, and I don't think I actually saw it for the first time until I was dating my wife. And so at holiday times, we watched Elf for the first time, and I gave it an honest shot, and I really actually came away enjoying Elf. Elf is one of the ones that we will always put on at least once a year. Make sure it's got to get checked off the list before Christmas comes and goes. This was the movie that we watched this year while we were wrapping Christmas presents one night. Again, going back with some of these other classics, like your Christmas Vacation, your Christmas Story. There's a lot of quotes from Elf that stick out, like, good luck, buddy. Hope you find your dad. And I'm drawing a blank right now, but there's lots of quotable things from Elf. And again, a lot of quotes that people will pull and use when they're not during the holiday times, right? And so, going back to the story, I think it's kind of a fairly unique story. I do think at the heart of it, it's about family. The dad character, he kind of goes on somewhat of a hey, thank you, Cryptid Chaos, for the subscription. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I think it does have family at its heart. I was saying that the dad kind of goes through an arc, kind of like you'd see almost in a Scrooge type film, right, where he goes from being kind of a bah humbug type character, thinking that that Buddy is nuts, and then coming around to realize the importance of family. So it's got some cheesy moments to it, but overall, I actually really enjoy this movie. It's got a good Christmas soundtrack, which is important for a lot of these movies. I think Christmas Vacation also has a very good soundtrack. And so I am going to put Elf up in the S tier. And I didn't actually think I was going to do that until I sat down and start talking about it. Let's see, by the way, Skull Vikings broke records this weekend. Such a good game. Absolutely. My in-laws are huge Minnesota Vikings fans, and they were watching the game Saturday. We were not. But I heard the news when the game was over almost immediately, and wow, what a game, right? 0-33, and they turn around for a 39-36 victory in overtime. Biggest NFL comeback in history, and it snagged them the title. Like, that's just absolutely nuts. They could it could be a lifetime before we see something like that again. So, again, I'm not a big football guy, but I think the head guy he's now on the Colts. He was on another team before. I think his name was Matt Ryan. Talked about how Ryan always chokes because there was a Super Bowl where his team was down like 28-3 or something like that. But yeah, that was absolutely wild. I wish that I had been watching the game when it was live. All right, let's see. Let's keep cruising through here. We got a lot of movies to get through. Again, as we do this, I am also raising money for charity. If you guys would like to help me out by pitching in some money, we do have one more donation incentive or goal. And that goal is to play some Fortnite with my wonderful wife. So if you want to go ahead and donate, please consider making a contribution over there. My donations are going towards a Mental Health America. I think that's really important, especially this time of year. Let's see. Kirk Cousins threw for 415 yards in the second half of the game. Yeah. New record. Okay, I'm done. No, go ahead and keep shouting it out. It was truly something to behold here. Let's see. The next one is Ernest Saves Christmas. I think I may have watched this one once when I was a kid. I know some people have a lot of fondness for Ernest and his stupidity, but this one is honestly one that I have to put under, I don't know this one. So if anybody wants to come back and make an impassioned case for Ernest, go ahead. But I was never really a fan of him, and I've only seen a couple of the Ernest movies, maybe once or twice. So sorry. Four Christmases. I don't know if I've seen that one or not. I feel like I may have seen this one time, maybe. But I could not tell you what it's about. So this is another easy one for me. I don't know this one. All right, next we have Frosty the Snowman. All right, before I even say anything, boom. Okay. I'm probably super biased on this one, but I am a Frosty child. Frosty was the one movie. Hey, anonymous gifters gifting 2 tier 1 subs. Thank you so much. So we've gotten subs gifted to Fully Hectic and to Little Amber. So thank you so much for these subscriptions. Spreading that love at the holiday season. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. But as I was saying, Frosty was the one movie that every single year since I've been a kid, I have to make sure that I get to see it. I have to. I have to see Frosty. We just watched it this weekend with my kids. We actually watched it twice. This is one that I love seeing. You know, it came out in I think it was the 60s. But the animation still holds up surprisingly well. It's a short, cute little movie. You know, I love Frosty coming out and saying happy birthday. I like the song. So this is one that's all rooted in nostalgia and my childhood, and I really like it. Now, let's talk for a second about a movie that's not on this list, which is Frosty the Snowman Returns. If you have never seen Frosty the Snowman Returns, don't. Okay, I believe Frosty the Snowman Returns came out in the 90s because I remember being at my grandparents' house for Christmas or Christmas Eve or something around those times. And I think they were premiering Frosty Returns on TV that night. And I watched it, and even as a kid, I was like, what is this? So in Frosty Returns, the short version is that John Goodman plays Frosty. And then the bad guy in the movie is a business guy. And the business guy is voiced by the same guy who plays the boss in Christmas Vacation. I do not know that actor's name. And he creates this aerosol spray that basically removes all of the snow. And so Frosty's and his friend, whoever the little kid is in that movie, are worried about the snow going away and Frosty going away. But it did not capture the same magic that Frosty did. One of those definitely unnecessary sequels. But we have a Christmas collection that includes Frosty and Rudolph, and it has Frosty Returns on it too, unfortunately. So even though I don't care for that one, I actually just saw that one on Saturday evening, I think it was, maybe Friday. I can't remember which day it was, but there you go. So Frosty, for me, is absolutely an S tier Christmas movie. It's also a nice little one that you can throw on. It's like 20-some minutes long. You know, you don't really have to pay attention to it, but it's nice to hear the songs. It's nice to look up and see the movie playing, that sort of stuff. You know, there's lots of fun moments like when they're going through the streets of town and they get to the traffic cop and they make him choke on his whistle, and that's kind of funny. Or they go and ask for a train ticket to the North Pole, and the guy has the whole string of tickets that go all out of hand, and he says it'll be $3,000, and then they say they can't do it, and he says no money, no ticket. I don't know. I like Frosty. All right, next we'll tackle both of these back to back, and we'll actually do them in numerical order. So the tier list has Home Alone 2 and then Home Alone 1. We're gonna tackle Home Alone 1 first. So Home Alone 1, so the classic, the one that started it all. I think they're, no joke, up to 7 or 8 Home Alone movies now, and I've seen the first 3. And actually, I'm surprised 3 is not on here because I saw a tier list that included that one as well, right? But the first one, Macaulay Culkin, Kevin McAllister misses the plane for his family vacation and ends up spending Christmas by himself while his family I think they go to France. And he ends up having to fend off his home against the wet bandits. This first movie and the second movie, I think are all, again, holiday classics. I believe these are ones that had the Danny Elfman score, so they've got the really classic Christmas music to them. They've got the fun antics. Of course, this one the first movie has the really iconic scene where Kevin is shaving and then does what we can see in the thing where he screams and whatever. It's got, I'm trying to think of some of the other things that are Home Alone 1. The problem with these movies is sometimes I mix some of the bits in them up. Um, but they're both to me absolutely fantastic movies. The first one has like the neighbor that he thinks is really scary that he sees like carrying out the garbage can and stuff like that. And then he ends up becoming friends with him by the end of it. Home Alone 2, that's the one where it's kind of the inverse situation. He gets stuck in New York City, so he ends up using his dad's credit card to rent himself out a really nice hotel room. This one's got Tim Curry in it, which is fantastic. This has got the one where he's using the Christmas movie, like the mobster Christmas movie, to like scare the hotel crew. This has got the one again, the Wet Bandits make an appearance at the end, and he has the whole like showdown with them in like the unfinished apartment building. This one has the toy store. It's got the pigeon lady. It's fantastic. So I think what I'm going to do here is I really like both of these movies, but I honestly think I like two just a little bit more than one. So I'm going to put two as an S tier, and I'm going to put one as an A tier. I think this is an example where the first movie was a brilliant example of a premise for a movie, and then I think two kind of further refined on that and made in many ways an even better movie, or like a better sequel. And then I think it went off the rails after that. Three wasn't atrocious, but it was pretty bad, and I haven't seen the ones that have come since then. All right, next, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. We're looking at the classic animated film. So again, another thing I like this one, kind of like Frosty, is that it's short, it's digestible. I really like how closely this book sticks to the source material. This movie version gives us the classic "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch" song, which is just a holiday classic song. And it's got I think it's Thurl Ravenscroft is the guy that sings that. He's got that deep voice, so that's just like a really classic Christmas song. So I think that's great. This movie terrified me as a child for one specific reason, and I should see if I can pull up a screenshot. But there's a scene towards the beginning of the movie. The Grinch comes out of his cave, and he can hear all the Who's down in Whoville preparing for Christmas. And it's the moment where he comes up with the idea that he's gonna go and he's gonna ruin Christmas. And so it talks about him coming up with a terrible, awful idea. And there's this scene in the movie where he gets this horrible, like Grinchy grin on his face, and then like the thing on his head kind of like curls up, and like the music, there's like a sting in the music, and it literally terrified me as a kid. It was so bad that like when I knew that part of the movie was coming up, I either had to look down or like leave the room. And so like that absolutely terrified me. I don't know if I can find that really quickly. I'll take a look real quick and see. Grinch, evil smile. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I want it animated. Where's that? That. That absolutely terrified me as a child. No, thank you. Um, I remember that as kind of the standout of the movie for me, as kind of the biggest moment there. Of course, seeing him, like the montage of him going to all the houses and stealing all the stuff, in the scene where he meets Cindy Lou Who and gets her the glass of water and stuff. You know, like those have all been recreated in the other versions of the Grinch that have come since. But I thought that this movie did it in a really charming way. And so I've been putting a lot of movies in S tier. But I think the animated Grinch deserves to go there as well. All right, next, It's a Wonderful Life. All right, this one is a lot different than a lot of the other movies that are on here, right? It's a movie that is not just about Christmas. Obviously, eventually, the central point of the movie gets to being about Christmas and the spirit of Christmas and the importance of family and all of that sort of stuff. Um, I what I will say is, as a kid, I did not appreciate this movie for two reasons. One, it was a black and white movie, and I have, even to this day, have a really hard time watching black and white film. I realize as an adult that there are some classics, both holiday and otherwise, that are older and are absolutely worth watching, even though they are black and white films. But that always turned me off as a child. And the other reason that I got turned off from this movie is this is a damn long movie. And I think the pacing of the movie is a little rough in some spots. That being said, like, yeah, the movie's long, but like it's all building towards something that's really important. And I think because the movie spends so much time in like the first half slash 2/3, talking about George Bailey and building up his relationship with his wife and his relationship with his dad and his job and all this stuff, and then the whole like final act of the movie is him thinking that he's dead or seeing what the world would be like if he's not there, and then realizing how much he really needs to appreciate what it is that he has. Like, I think the acting is really good. I think the message of the movie is probably one of the best messages out of all of the Christmas movies that are here. So if you're talking about a movie that really drives home the message and the meaning of Christmas and family, I think this movie is one of the best examples you could possibly have of that. And so I'm gonna put It's a Wonderful Life in A tier. I think there's a pretty good argument for it being an S tier movie, and we'll reevaluate once we get closer to being done. That one could possibly move, but if you'll notice, I've got like a lot of S tier movies, and I can see that there's going to be a couple more coming. All right, next, Jingle All the Way. I've seen this movie a couple times. I remember watching it as a kid. I think, God, what's the name of the superhero toy they all want in that movie? Is it Turbo Man? I think it's Turbo Man. I'm going back to what Cryptid Chaos said earlier. If you're looking for like a Christmas action movie, there's not a ton of them out there. And certainly no other ones on this list other than if you count Die Hard. And so like Jingle All the Way kind of fits the niche of being like a kid slash family movie, but also kind of that Schwarzenegger-y action type film. I remember bits and pieces of this movie, and I really remember enjoying it. I'm sure there are other people that probably have a lot more fondness for the movie than I do, but I think it's certainly valuable for its uniqueness compared to some of these other movies, and it's kind of a fun experience. And so I'm going to throw Jingle All the Way as our first B tier movie. Next we have Love Actually. Okay, I've only seen this movie all the way through once, and I didn't think that's due to my wife. I've seen bits and pieces of it since then. If I remember right, this is the one where it's not like it. The movie has a bunch of different characters and their relationships. So you have like Alan Rickman and his wife, and you have the guy who plays Rick in The Walking Dead, and you have like all these different characters, and it's like a romance movie that's about their different relationships, and it's kind of all these kind of interweaving and kind of separate plots, all kind of happening around the holidays. There's some heartfelt, warm stuff in there. There's like some infidelity and cheating stuff that's going on. There's like, I don't know. I don't remember this movie very well. It wasn't a movie that was made for me. I even hesitate. I mean, I know that, again, a lot of it, I even hesitate to call this one a Christmas movie because, like, yeah, it takes place at Christmas time, and there's talk about giving Christmas gifts and things like that. But like, I feel like it's more of a rom-com or a romance than anything else. But I don't know. Again, also this movie's just not it's not my audience, and so I'm gonna I'm gonna hear a noise from upstairs. I'm gonna put this movie as a D tier. Yeah. So there we go. Next we have Mickey's Christmas Carol. So this one is fantastic. This one is very classic, very straight through to the Charles Dickens Christmas Carol, using the Mickey character. So of course you have Scrooge. I was wondering, we actually watched this movie or read the book version of this the other day in our house, and I was wondering if this was actually Scrooge McDuck's first appearance. Like, I don't know if Scrooge McDuck was created because of Christmas Carol and then became Scrooge McDuck later, or if Scrooge McDuck existed and then they just used him for their Christmas Carol. I don't know. Let's find out while we're here, right? When did Scrooge McDuck first appear? Scrooge McDuck, or Uncle Scrooge, is a fictional Scottish character created by Carl Barks, who first appeared in Dell Comics on December 1947. Okay, so if he came out in 1947, let's see. Mickey Mouse Christmas Carol. 1983. Okay, so Scrooge was around for a long time before Mickey Mouse's Christmas Carol came out. So, okay, he was not created for that. He was... Okay. So, okay, that blows that theory out of the water. That being said, I think it's good. I really like how they bring some of like the classic Disney characters in to be stand-ins. Goofy plays Jacob Marley. Mickey plays Bob Cratchit. You have Jiminy, who kind of acts in as one of the spirits. I think he stands in as the spirit of Christmas past. Jiminy Cricket does. And then you have like this Jolly Giant character who's present. And then like this almost demonic-y, mysterious version of kind of like Pete. That's kind of the ghost of Christmas future. Um, Again, I really like the Christmas Carol story. I think if you look at this list, there may be some other better versions of Christmas Carol that are on here. Um, but I think this one holds up. I think it's good. It's a great one to watch with kids. Some of the Christmas Carol ones can be a little spooky. I think of something like the Jim Carrey one can be a little bit spooky, stuff like that. Obviously, the classic one can be a little bit scary when you get to the stuff at the end. This one certainly shies away from most of that, and so I'm going to put this one as a solid B tier, only because I think there's a better version of Christmas Carol in this list to come. Next, Nightmare Before Christmas. All right, so let's go to a slightly different argument. I'm going to ask you guys another poll. I'm going to ask you if Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie. So is The Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween movie or is it a Christmas movie? Let's see what we think. And then I'll explain my argument once more. So is Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween or Christmas film? All right, start another poll here. So, is Nightmare Before Christmas, is it a Halloween movie or is it a Christmas movie? Now, if we look at it, it obviously takes place in Halloween Town. This is like probably the most iconic, arguably most iconic Tim Burton movie that's out there. My wife just says both. It's both. I did not put both as an option. I want you guys to choose. Okay. If you look at it visually, if you look at its setting, it's like very clearly Halloween movie, right? It even has like the opening song is "This Is Halloween." Very kind of off-putting on purpose visuals. You've got like Sally, who's a stitched together corpse, and Jack Skellington, who's a skeleton, and you've got the mayor whose head turns around, and you've got the scientist guy whose brain comes out, and all of that stuff. But then when you look at the core of the movie, it ends up with Jack going to the North Pole and him kind of taking on the role of being Santa Claus. And I think there's a lot of like Christmas wrappings in the story itself. And so I think the story is more about Christmas. That being said, like if I'm going to watch Nightmare Before Christmas, I'm not waiting until December to throw it on. Like I'm watching it in October. And so I think I made the argument before. I think Nightmare Before Christmas serves as a really good bridge, as like a really good start to the whole holiday season, right? That starts with Halloween and then Thanksgiving and then going into Christmas or whatever winter holiday you celebrate, right? So this one's really hard for me because again, let's see, Cryptid says, I agree with your wife. It's absolutely both, and I watch it at both. That's the thing too. Like, yeah, how many of you guys actually will watch it more than once? You'll watch it at Halloween time and then watch it again at Christmas time. Like for me, I very rarely will watch a movie more than once. Some of these holiday movies are exceptions. They're family traditions that we'll watch from time to time or once a year. I'm probably only going to watch Nightmare Before Christmas once, and I'm probably going to watch it at Halloween rather than watching it at Christmas time. But that being said, I feel like the heart and the message of this story is more about the spirit of Christmas than it is about the spirit of Halloween. So, even though I watch it in October and I watch it to get into the Halloween spirit, I am going to say that it is, in fact, a Christmas movie. And we'll figure out where it ranks here in just a second. Let's see, the poll's almost up. Let's look at the results. For this one, we have 100% of the votes. There's only one vote so far. 100% of the votes saying that it is a Halloween movie. So I'm going to say that it is, in fact, a Christmas movie. this poll says holiday movie, and so even if you're counting it a Halloween movie, Halloween's still a holiday. And so I'm gonna put this as a solid B tier film, right? It's a classic one. It's obviously got a giant following. Um, I like it. I probably don't like it as much as some people do. But I do think it's really it's got some quirkiness. It's got some charm to it in its own Tim Burton-esque way. It's certainly eye-catching. Some of the music's really fun. So let's see. Twice a year, every year. I'm not super fond of traditional Christmas movies, so I use Die Hard and NBC as my stand-ins. That's really good. You know, if I only had to watch two films this time of year, and the two that I had were Die Hard and Nightmare Before Christmas, that's not a bad list, right? Even though I've argued that Die Hard's not Christmas and that Nightmare Before Christmas I'll watch in October. I think those are two that if you went the holiday season or you went a year without seeing them, you're kind of missing out. But I'm gonna place Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas as a B tier holiday movie. All right, next we have Rudolph. Okay, now Rudolph is part of that like pantheon of Christmas classics, one that Frosty belongs in, ones that things like the Santa Claus is Coming to Town belongs in, which is not on this list. Year Without a Santa Claus, that sort of stuff. It's the Rankin Bass stop motion or animated Christmas classics, and Rudolph is probably way up there. Rudolph is also one of those ones that like Frosty got sequels later. Although I think the sequel to Rudolph is like it's something about New Year because Baby New Year's in it. I think that sequel came a lot sooner after the original Rudolph than Frosty Returns did after Frosty. Let's go dig into that. Let's see. Rudolph was 1964. Rudolph and I forgot there was Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July. Rudolph, what's the Rudolph sequel called? Rudolph sequel, Baby New Year. What was that one? Rudolph's Shiny New Year, 1976. See, that was a lot sooner after the original Rudolph than Frosty Returns. But anyway, we're not talking about that specific movie. Rudolph, we just watched Rudolph this weekend. I think Rudolph, I know, well, we watched. I napped while Rudolph was on. I think Rudolph is, again, it stands up as a Christmas classic. It's one that, if you have the means to watch it, you absolutely kind of need to get into it. Let's see. Cryptid says, yeah, but it goes back to my comment about what makes a Christmas movie specifically a Christmas movie. Is it the holiday season, the holiday spirit embodied in the film, or what? Yeah, and that's a great question. And I think that Nightmare Before Christmas definitely does that. And I think that Rudolph does too in some ways. But Rudolph obviously fits the it's about the reindeer, it's about Santa, it's about this reindeer that doesn't fit in because he's different until they realize that it's that thing that's different about him that makes him great. It's got the charming stop motiony stuff. It's got Yukon Cornelius, the Abominable Snowman, the Island of Misfit Toys. It's got a couple catchy songs. You got Burl Ives singing his Christmas classics there. So if a Christmas season came around and I didn't see Rudolph, I wouldn't be like, oh man, I can't believe it. We got to watch it before we put away the Christmas stuff. But if I noticed it, I'd be like, oh man, we didn't watch Rudolph this year. So I think for me, Rudolph is going to be another B tier. Probably a B tier with the asterisk of you should probably try to watch it if you can. All right, we're getting there. How far are we into the stream? We're almost an hour in. All right. So we've got the second version of the Grinch and the only other one that will appear in this version of the tier list. So we've got Jim Carrey's Grinch. I will say, obviously Jim Carrey is a wonderful character actor. He gets super zany and into all of his characters, whether you're talking about The Mask, whether you're talking about The Grinch, whether you're talking about Liar Liar, whether you're talking about him playing Dr. Robotnik or Eggman in the Sonic movies, right? He's always very animated, and that serves the Grinch really, really well. I will say when I first watched this movie, I found like the costuming and the makeup a little off-putting, the way that the Who's looked specifically. I've watched the movie many, many times. I think it's good, and I think it's a good way to kind of add on to the original, right? Because they aren't just. It would have been impossible to make the original Grinch book slash animated film into a 90+ minute movie. And so they had to wedge in like some other backstory about the Grinch, right? So I actually like that they kind of give the origin story to the Grinch and why he became the way that he was. I do appreciate that. Um, some of the things in that movie I think are a little bit unbearable. Some of the musical numbers in there I think are a little out there. There's some things that I don't particularly enjoy, but overall I really like this one. This is a good one to watch with family and with other people. Again, Jim Carrey's performance as the Grinch alone is notable, and so I think I'm going to put Jim Carrey's Grinch as a B tier holiday movie. The Holiday, I think I may have seen this movie one time, and I think if I look over there, I think this movie's sitting on our shelf. But I'll be honest, again, rom com, not my sort of jam. I think it had Jack Black in it, and I love me some Jack Black. But yeah, I may have seen this one time, but I don't know this one. All right, next, Muppet Christmas Carol. All right, so this is one that I saw once as a kid, and then I've revisited as an adult. And this has got the Muppets. The Muppets are absolutely fantastic in just about every single thing that they do. This one also has Michael Caine in it, which makes it an instant classic. And so I think like of all of the versions of Christmas Carol that are out there, if I want to go back and watch one, I actually really, really do like the Mickey version, especially watching that one with my kids. But if I had to pick one to rewatch every single year, I'm going to pick Muppet Christmas Carol. And so I think Muppet Christmas Carol is absolutely, oh shoot, where am I going to put it? I keep waffling between an S tier and an A tier. I'm gonna put it in A tier just because while I really like it, I am not like the Muppet super fan that a lot of people are, and I don't have quite the appreciation for it that some people hold. So I'm gonna put it here. Night Before, that looks like Seth Rogen, and it looks like the oh gosh, who's that? Uh, James Gordon-Levitt, I think, and then the guy that plays Falcon, I think. I can't tell. No, I can't tell from that small picture who that is. I've never seen that movie. I don't know if that's a Christmas movie. I don't know if that's a Hanukkah movie. I have no idea. I don't know this one. Polar Express. All right. Might be saying something controversial here. I don't like the Polar Express. Um, I read the book once or twice as a kid. I think we may have read it during like holiday time at school. I think the idea behind the film version of having Tom Hanks play like a bunch of the different characters is kind of fun. Um, but the animation I think is really kind of off-putting, and I don't care about much of the movie, and I honestly don't have the patience to sit through it. And so yeah, I'm gonna put Polar Express. I'm gonna put Polar Express as a D tier Christmas movie. Yeah. All right. So there it is. Maybe I just destroyed some people's childhoods there. All right. Next, we have all three Santa Clauses. We'll make this quick. We're going to start with the original one. I really like the premise of the original movie, which is that I don't know if that means JJ Colade agrees with me that Polar Express is trash or if he's coming at me. um, and trash is hard. It's not trash. A lot of people love that movie. There's fans of every single movie that's on here. I'm just not one of them, and the movie kind of creeps me out. Let's see. Santa Claus. Again, I like the premise of the first one. The idea is that Santa Claus shows up to Tim Allen's house, and they accidentally kill him, and so then he has to become Santa, and so he has to take on the role of becoming Santa Claus. And the first movie's fun. It has a lot of heart to it, because if I remember right, it starts off with Tim Allen's character being very much like corporate. I think he works for like a toy company, a really successful toy company. He's very corporate. He doesn't spend enough time with his son. I can't remember in the first movie if him and his wife have already divorced or if that happens over the course of the first movie. But there's a lot of message about family in there and a lot of fun stuff that goes in there. And I think that Tim Allen plays a pretty good Santa Claus. And so I really, really enjoy the first Santa Claus movie. I enjoy the first one enough. Let's see. I don't know if I'd put it as like as an A tier movie, but I kind of put it in the same category as Rudolph, that it's a B tier movie that I really try to make sure that I try to catch. This is one that I definitely am fine putting on in the background while I'm doing something else, but I really enjoy it. Now the second one is the one where um, there's like kind of like two storylines that are going on. The first one I think is that Santa is really overworked, and so he uses a machine to create a toy version of Santa Claus to kind of help him get some of the work done. And then the other thing, or maybe this is the reason why he does that, is that there's a statement in the Santa Claus or the contract that says he has to have a Mrs. Claus, or else he can no longer be Santa Claus. And so one of the big plot lines is that he has to find his Mrs. Claus. And again, there's a lot of conversations in here about family and his relationship with his kid and navigating how that works with the divorce and stuff like that. I think this one's fine. It's not as good as the first one. There's some things that I actually don't like. Again, I think it's interesting you have the lead playing like both the main Santa Claus and the toy one. I think this one's cool because you get to see a lot of like Santa's workshop and all the elves, and they had kid actors play the elves, and that was kind of fun. There's some fun scenes to this one, but it's not as good as it's not as good as the first one, so I'm gonna put that as a C tier. Santa Claus 3, I wish there was an F tier. All right, I'm gonna put that in the D tier right away. Santa Claus 3 was trash. I think I've only ever seen the whole movie all the way through once. The whole Jack Frost thing was stupid. The movie's garbage. Okay, that is like out of all the movies that I've put on this list, that is the one that I'm confident saying is a garbage movie. Santa Claus 3 is trash. All right, Year Without a Santa Claus. I don't remember this one very well because I think I always get this one confused with Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I think Year Without a Santa Claus is the one that I think I can see him. It's got like Heat Miser and like Ice Miser or Frost Miser in there. This is one of those again Rankin Bass classics that goes along with like Rudolph and Frosty and some of those others, but I don't remember this one very well. I've seen it multiple times as a kid, but I don't know. Again, it probably had some fun stop motion charm and a couple of good musical numbers. I remember those two having a song that was pretty fun to watch, but I don't know. I could hardly tell you anything about it, so I'm going to put that one as a C tier. American Tail is American. What is American Tail? Are there people actually arguing that American Tail is a Christmas movie? Is there a big part of that story that takes place at Christmas time? I've only seen American Tail like once, and then I know that there was like Fievel Goes West, which was the sequel. All right, let me Google this. Is American Tail a Christmas movie? Oh, or is that what this is? An American Tail Christmas? Hold on a second. Is that a movie? An American Tail Christmas. Well, shoot. But that's just showing the original. After all, of course, it's fine. They were Jewish mice. They celebrated Hanukkah. um. Okay, hold on. We're digging here a little bit. Let's click on American Tail. What's the plot synopsis? Is there anything about like Christmas or Hanukkah? Christmas isn't showing up. Hanukkah you can spell a bunch of different ways, but let's see if I get anything. Okay. In 1885, Shatska, Russia, the Mouskovitzes, a Russian Jewish family of mice, live with a human family named Mouskovitz, are having a celebration of Hanukkah where Papa gives his hat to seven. Okay. Okay. All right. I kind of remember that. Is there anything about the story though that is like about Hanukkah or like the Christmas or holiday spirit though? Or is it just that they happen to be a Russian Jewish family that celebrates Hanukkah? Huh. Returns. Okay. To me, this let's see. Only one I've seen is Fievel Goes West, so I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to be offensive, but I'm gonna say that like just from what I remember of American Tail, that like it's more of a tale about like family and immigration than it is about like holidays and Hanukkah or whatever. So I'm gonna mark American Tail as maybe like a fun animated movie, but not a holiday movie. even though they are a Jewish family. Miracle on 34th Street. There were multiple versions of this movie. This looks like it's the original one. I'm going to echo some of the same things I said about It's a Wonderful Life. I have a hard time watching the old school original version because it's a black and white movie. If I remember right, it's also got a fairly long runtime. If you want to talk about a Christmas movie being a Christmas movie, this one is a really good example of that. Again, if I don't remember the plot of this too well, I remember that there's like an older gentleman who befriends this young woman. The older guy is actually Santa Claus, but he's kind of hiding his identity. And then it's revealed later that he's Santa. And I don't remember. I know I know this one's like a bona fide classic, but I don't remember a whole lot about this one. This was not one that in my household we were watching on repeat every year, that we had to make sure we watched Christmas on or A Miracle on 34th Street. I remember watching, my mom showed it to me once when I was a kid. I did like it. I thought it was a little bit too long. So, I think, again, it's very much like It's a Wonderful Life in terms of holding up as like a holiday classic. But for me, it doesn't quite have the same weight as It's a Wonderful Life, and I don't have quite the same appreciation for it, so I'm going to put it as a B tier. Harry Potter, is that the original Harry Potter? I believe that's the original Harry Potter. Let me confirm that. Let's see. The first one was the Sorcerer's Stone. I just want to look at the box art to make sure this is the right movie. It is? Okay, it is. My wife says it is. It is. Yep, there it is. Okay. I remember reading The Sorcerer's Stone in 6th grade. I've seen the first movie multiple times. I know that there's like a whole scene in the movie where part of it's taking place during Christmas time. But really, we're going to try to argue that Sorcerer's Stone's a Christmas movie? Again, I get it. If you go back to Cryptid's argument of what about a movie that you like watching during the holiday time that captures the spirit? There's some scenery in Harry Potter that kind of captures the Christmas spirit a little bit. Again, there's the great banquet where they all eat. And I remember there's a Christmassy type setting or wintry scene for that. And I think the music and the charm of those movies make them good ones to watch this time of year, but they're not holiday movies. Similarly, we've got one of the Lord of the Rings movies down here. I think that one's Two Towers. Which one? Let's find out. Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. It's either Two Towers or Return of the King. It might have been Return of the King. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's Return of the King. Again, I don't know if this was thrown in here as a joke, but I'm gonna say Lord of the Rings: Return of the King is not a holiday movie. I don't know if that's supposed to be some joke about I don't know. I was gonna say about Christ coming back, but Christmas Eve isn't even about Christ's death. It's about his birth. This is gonna sound shocking for most of you, especially knowing what kind of stuff I'm into and how big of a nerd I am. I have not actually sat through and watched the Lord of the Rings movies. I've seen scenes many, many times. I've always really wanted to watch the Lord of the Rings movies, but I don't own them. And sitting down to watch the extended cuts is a 9+ hour journey. And obviously you wouldn't have to do it all in one shot, but I have just not taken the time to sit down and watch all of those. So I don't even understand why somebody, whether it was a joke or not, would put Return of the King, the third movie, as a holiday film. I don't know if there's some sort of Hobbit or Elvish holiday celebration that takes place during that movie or whatever. I know that that's a huge gap and people love those, and I'm sure that I would absolutely love them too. I have seen the Hobbit movies, and years ago I got the Lord of the Rings books and the Hobbit as, I believe, as a Christmas gift. But I still have not sat through and read them. I've tried it multiple times. So I don't know. I don't know if that was thrown there as a joke or what, but it is not a holiday movie. Fred Claus. I think I've seen Fred Claus once. I see that it has Vince Vaughn in it. Very hit or miss. I really like Dodgeball, but really not because of him. I'm not a huge fan of his in general. And And so I'm gonna put this one in D tier. And then the last one that leaves us with is Scrooged. So Scrooge is Bill Murray. This is more of a modern take on the Christmas Carol story. I had never actually seen this movie until like a year or two ago. Well, my wife put it on because I don't think she had seen it all the way through either, and she's like, people have talked about Scrooge and love it, and I want to watch it. So she watched it, and I don't think I sat down and watched it with her. I think it was on in the room while I was doing something else, but she really enjoyed it. I've listened to other podcasts and media groups debating the best Christmas movies of all time before. And one of them that I really actually liked put Scrooged as the best Christmas movie ever. I can't say that with definitive experience. But again, it's kind of a modern take on the Christmas Carol story. And I don't know, I really wish I could talk about this and give it the love that it probably deserves because, again, I know a lot of people would argue that this is an S tier, or if not an S tier, then a high A tier movie. But I don't really know this one. Like, I'm tempted to put it in don't know because I really haven't actually given it a watch from beginning to end. But with the reputation that the movie has, I feel like I could probably confidently, safely put it at least as an A tier. So I think we'll plop it there. Now, let's go through and recap here real quick and see if there are any final adjustments. If chat has any strong cases to make for why one of these movies should go up or down or whatever, then please make your voices known or forever hold your peace. But I will quickly recap them from bottom to top. So I said that I did not know Ernest Saves Christmas, Four Christmases, The Holiday, or The Night Before. I'm pretty confident I have never seen Four Christmases or The Night Before. I may have seen Ernest once, and I may have seen The Holiday once, but I could not remember a thing about them. I argued that Die Hard, as wonderful as the original movie is, and some of the sequels, Die Hard, I argued, was not a Christmas movie. I argued that Scissorhands was not American Tail, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, not holiday movies. In terms of the trash tier, the man, why would you waste your time watching this when it comes on TV movie? Most of these are probably not surprising. Christmas with the Cranks, Fred Claus, Santa Claus 3. I also put Love Actually down there, and probably my most controversial pick, I threw Polar Express down in the D tier. Fight me. For C tier, Bad Santa, Christmas Story, 8 Crazy Nights, Santa Claus 2, Year Without a Santa Claus. Again, probably the only one that people would deem controversial in this list is that I placed Christmas Story so low. Again, I think it's a movie with some fun moments, but as an actual standalone movie, I don't think it's very good. I don't think it's worthy of being played on repeat for 24 hours a day when Christmas comes around. I can't remember what channel it is that does that. So that's kind of where I placed that one. If I was going to pick a movie out of this list that you would put on a 24-hour loop and have people like tune into throughout the day or catch, I'm probably looking at one of my S tier picks. Probably not Frosty or Grinch because they're so short. But I think, if they did like a 24-hour movie marathon and they just kept replaying Christmas Vacation or Elf or one of the Home Alone movies, one or two, I think that's probably okay. I could even see them doing like It's a Wonderful Life on repeat just because of how long the movie is. But I would pick any of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over having Christmas Vacation on a loop over and over again. Again, something like Christmas Vacation or Elf, or even Home Alone, but Christmas Vacation and Elf, they have such good soundtracks that even if you're not paying attention to the movie, having it on in the background, you can hear a lot of wonderful things. Let's see. In my B tier, I put Jingle All the Way, Mickey Mouse's Christmas Carol, Nightmare Before Christmas, Rudolph, Jim Carrey's Grinch, the original Santa Claus, and Miracle on 34th Street. So I don't know. Again, probably the most controversial one I have there is probably this one, just because I don't have the same appreciation for it that other people do. A tier, we have Charlie Brown Christmas. We have the original Home Alone. It's a Wonderful Life. Muppet Christmas Carol, Scrooged. I have some thoughts. We'll come back in a second. And then S tier, Christmas Vacation, Elf, Frosty, Home Alone 2, Grinch. So here's my thoughts. Even though I think I personally enjoy Home Alone 2 over Home Alone 1, obviously Home Alone 2 would not exist without Home Alone 1. Home Alone 1 did a lot of the groundwork. So I'm debating switching Home Alone 1 and 2. Because what I was just thinking about is if you're going to put a movie on repeat all day, would I rather have Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2? While I enjoy some of the bits in 2 better, I feel like you'd want the original being played on the loop. So I'm actually going to flip those two. And I think the first movie we talked about was Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown's one that in my family we absolutely have to watch every single year. We have the book version of it. We may even watch this one multiple times throughout the year. I think this one deserves to be an S tier. But then makes things a little bit lopsided. So if I was going to take one of these and put it down, I might take my my beloved Frosty and put him at an A tier. Because if you're looking at, we got 3 animated movies, kind of A tier, S tier, right? You got Grinch, Charlie Brown, Frosty. They're all fairly short, about 20 to 30 minute run times. They're all Christmas classics. The Grinch is important because of the ones that it spawned later. Nothing good has come out of Frosty other than Frosty the Snowman. So I think I'm actually going to take my list here. So there is the final tier list from Professor Roadblock, our Christmas or holiday movie tier. You are sacrificing Frosty. I didn't sacrifice him. I didn't put him down here. But I think to even things out, yeah, we're going to do it this way. Now you got me questioning myself. Because I think it looks weird if we have more S tier movies than A tier movies. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 S tier movies. But then if you think about like which movies am I going to watch every single year at least once? I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I haven't seen Home Alone this year, but I've watched the other ones already this year. The rest of the list, are there any that I'm like, oh yeah, I have to watch this every single year? No, not for me personally. I guess Rudolph we try to watch, but yeah, maybe we'll leave it here. Maybe we'll leave it there. Well, I'll stop messing with it. You convinced me. You convinced me to go back and double back on my convictions that Frosty is one of my favorites. So there we go. All right. So we are going to switch now. Good choice. We're going to switch now, thank you, to the next bit of this. Now, we'll continue this now. It's what, 10:15? Yeah, 10:15. And so I don't have a ton of time to get into this, but we will continue this on Wednesday. And so both of the streams this week will be holiday or Christmas themed. Before I get into that, there's a couple things that I want to remind you guys of. The first one is, once again, I'm still raising money for charity for Mental Health America. And so if you would like to make a contribution to that donation, then you can check out the link here. Again, I think this time of year especially, it's incredibly important for people to be taking care of each other, for us as individuals to be taking care of our own mental health. We had that wonderful raid and donation train that happened last Wednesday, but things have been very slow before and since then. So if any of you have the means to donate anything, $1, $5, $10, that'd be huge. We can hit $1,100 before the stream ends on Wednesday. Then we will be doing a duos Fortnite stream with my wife, who is watching right now. So please consider that. And then the other thing is that we absolutely smashed our sub goal as well last Wednesday. Not only did people donate a lot of money to charity, they also donated a lot of subscriptions to the channel. And so my initial sub goal was 10, and when I hit that, then my subscribers and viewers were going to choose my character, gender, and race combo in Final Fantasy XIV. So I played Final Fantasy 14 on the stream for weeks. We are going to go back to it. I do have some plans for it. It won't become our staple standard game, but it will make a regular appearance in rotation. And what I want you guys to do is to choose my new race/gender combo. So I don't have to make a new character. I can use an item that will change my character into any other race and gender that is in the game. And so I'm going to put this poll in chat. For you guys. And I would really appreciate it if you clicked on that and voted. If you want more information on any of those, I will try to explain it. But in parentheses next to each one, I tried to list what that race would be or what it would be most like. And so if you would like to vote for that, you can. One of the interesting things is that my character's name in the game is Mr. Sticks. So I've got that Mr. as my first name. And so if I ended up playing as a female character, that would be interesting with the way that my character's name works. But they have humans, they have elves, they have cat people, they have these small this race of small people. I listed them as gnomes. They're not really gnomes. They're kind of unique, but they are like the shortest of all the races, and they'd be like the gnome or dwarf equivalent in Final Fantasy XIV. On the flip side, there's a race called the Rogadin, which are these large barrel-chested, like giant-ish type people. There are the Aura. Those are Dragonborn type characters. My character right now is currently a male Dragonborn. There are the Viera, which are these bunny people. They're both male and female versions of that. And then the last one is Hrothgar, which is a lion person. And I have access to all of the races because I own all of the expansions. And so I would really like you guys to vote on what my next race and gender combination should be, and I will do a stream later. I'll let this go this week, and I'll probably let it go next week as well. And then when we get back into Final Fantasy XIV, after I've gotten a decent number of votes, you guys will be able to see what that is. So there's that. Now, with the remaining part of the stream tonight, we are going to switch over and play some Christmas games that I found on Steam. Now, these were all free-to-play games, so you might be assuming that they're garbage. And if you've ever watched any YouTube channels or any streamers play Christmas games, they go straight to the Flash games or the IO games, and a lot of them are very bottom of the barrel, very janky. I'm actually excited about a couple of these. They were fairly high rated. I haven't played any of them. I booted them up and adjusted the audio to make sure that they would load properly into Streamlabs. But we're going to play through maybe one or two of them tonight. Maybe we'll just do one. It depends on how long it takes, and then we'll do the others on a Wednesday. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the same analysis process that we used in my Intro to Game Studies class. I'm going to apply it to these holiday games. And so what that means is I'm going to be looking for specific things while I play, and I'll explain those while I'm looking for them. So I'm going to be looking for mechanics, which is individual programmed parts of the game. Dynamics, which is how those mechanics work together. Antagonists, or things that present challenge or obstacle within the game. My general notes or experiences. And then I will identify what I think is the one or two aesthetics or themes the game was trying to fulfill. And I will make an argument about whether it fulfills those or not. So let's go ahead and boot up the first one here. I'm going to go ahead and hide Tiermaker. It should say that it's looking for a game to capture. And so if I boot this first one up on Steam here, it should work. This one about blew out my eardrums last night, but the audio should be fine. I haven't restarted my computer since then. I booted it up after closing it last time. The audio was still quiet, but with a grain of salt, I'm going to boot this. So just maybe turn down your volume for just a second, or take out your earbuds or something in case this is really loud, but it shouldn't be. This one is called No Crooks on Christmas. And if it loads up, then I will go into full screen here. Uh-oh. Oh, we got something. It looks like it is working. So we're going to go full screen. Hopefully my webcam does not block any action. Like I said, I haven't played these games, so I don't know if I'm going to obscure anything. This is a tower defense game, and that is really all I know about it. So no crooks on Christmas. We're going to be looking for the mechanics, the dynamics, the antagonists, and then our summary. So let's click play. Oh no, it's Christmas Eve and we're being invaded. Don't let those crooks reach the Christmas tree. That's a goblin there, apparently. Use the spacebar to move between different rooms. Spend star points to build towers on the red mats. Pay attention, your towers will eventually expire and need to be replaced. I've never played a tower defense game where your towers will disappear. You can see the total number of available towers in the top right corner of the screen. Okay, I have a problem off the bat. Tower defense games are all about like building resources and then plopping down towers that destroy enemies, slow them down, create bottlenecks. Sometimes you'll have games where an enemy can attack or blow those up, but I have never played a tower defense game where after time they just disappear and have to get replaced. So this feels like a gameplay decision that's made for the sake of being unique. Like, oh, what if we did a tower defense game, but like made it so you had to replace your towers? That feels not like it's going to be a lot of fun to me, but let's see. Let's give it a shot. All right, so it says I can place towers on the red squares. Oh, these. I didn't even get to choose what I wanted to do. I just placed a tower. Okay. Okay. All right, so by the time they're getting to these two, they're dying. Okay. We got a couple more. Oh shoot! Oh shoot! Okay. Well, there's no indication that your towers are disappearing, so that's fun. My tower limit has been reached. Oh, and I thought they were coming from. Oh, the tree's there. I think we're gonna lose right away. Come on! Come on! Take him out! Take him out! Take him out! Okay, one of them hit the tree. This is something. I don't even have like different towers that I can put down. It's just the little like soldier guys blowing what looks like trumpets. And I have to keep watching this to see when they go down so I can place more. And I'm so behind the 8-ball that I'm putting them all here at the end. And I think I have to get the bar filled up. Okay. Let's see if I get like other towers on the next level. So before I do that, okay, mechanics. There's really only a couple very basic mechanics at play. I click on a red spot to place a tower. It places a tower. I can place 5 of them. So their mechanic is placing towers. But so far, there's no variety in towers. I have a limited number of towers I can place, which is fine. But other than me looking at this to see when one comes back, I have no idea of knowing when one of my towers disappears. So I kind of like, oh, I guess I will say we also have the mechanic of switching rooms. And honestly, I don't hate the idea of having to switch and manage different rooms, but it's really jarring and like I can't like go forward and back. I can just hit space and cycle through the rooms. So I have to like start at the end room and then like cycle all the way back through them. So we'll see. We'll see. New ability. Use the bucket to put out fires that are on the Christmas present. So if a goblin or enemy reaches the Christmas tree, I can put out the fires using a bucket. Oh, it's okay. Same house. Not enough star points. It takes 5 star points to put down a tower, huh? All right. Well, we're going to start by doing this. And I think what we're going to do is we're just going to go back to the original. Oh my goodness. How? Come on. So I think all I can really do at this point is keep cycling back through and hit them. Like when I'll try to put a new one down whenever one comes up like that. This. Oh my gosh. What do you mean not enough stars? Oh, is that the bucket? Okay. Okay, that guy's gone. That guy's gone. Okay. How's the Christmas tree doing? Not... I'm going to try it again. But that was not good. First level's manageable. Second level ramps up the difficulty so severely that I don't know what I can do. Like, I'm placing towers literally the second that I can place them, and I'm replacing the toy soldiers the second they go down. But I had no chance in hell of stopping that unless I now have to use the bucket because they're going to hit the tree, and I have to. So I have another strategy. We're gonna backload all of our soldiers in the last 2 rooms. That way I can watch this room and then flip over to using the bucket if I need to. All right, here we go. Oh, shoot. I'm going to have off-cycle soldiers because he's going to disappear before anybody else does. Okay. These guys are going to disappear before anybody even gets there. We'll try this. Okay, I got a soldier that's down. Another one that's down. Oh. Oh. There goes the tree. I mean, this might be working a little bit better. I also don't know, like... Do I need to hit the bucket? Like, we might squeak by on this one. But I don't know. I don't know. Music's not great either. Nope, we failed that one too, right before the end. I've seen enough of this one. And honestly, I thought this was going to be the worst out of the 5, so I'm glad that this one's out of the way first. But let's do a proper analysis, okay? Mechanics. I can place down the toy soldiers. That's about it, right? That's built upon having enough star points. It costs 5 star points to put down a soldier. From what I can tell, the only way I get more star points is over time. Every couple of seconds, I get 5. There's a stream of enemies that are moving towards the end constantly to attack the tree. The tree has so much health. Once it reaches 0, they're out. They're attempting to layer mechanics on top of mechanics, where now I have a bucket that I can use, but I have no idea how I'm properly supposed to use the bucket. And I have no feedback from the game other than this dropping or replenishing a soldier to know when I can place another one. So that's not great. Dynamics is how these things work together. So, right, obviously we have that the soldiers are there to protect the tree. The goblins are there to attack the tree. But honestly, there's not a lot of cohesion. There's not a lot of things working together here. In terms of antagonists, things that are presenting challenge, it would be the limited number of star points. It would be the limited number of towers. It's clearly the enemies, like the goblins that are attacking, and it is having to survive a certain length of time. Those are all the things that are presenting an obstacle in the game. Now, on the base, like, those obstacles are fine. If you think about what makes a good tower defense game, those are there. So you've got your enemies that are constantly coming, limited resources that you have to manage and trying to survive. Those are all good core mechanics of a tower defense game, but they're put together really, really poorly here. So the last thing that I'll say is what theme or aesthetic or experience is this designed to fit? So our options are sensation, fantasy, narrative, challenge, fellowship, discovery, expression, and submission. The only one that I even think fits here at all is challenge, right? It's the challenge of surviving waves of goblins coming at your Christmas tree. But it's honestly, it doesn't feel like a fair challenge. Like, I'm going to try it after I'm done railing on it. I'm going to try it one more time and see if we can survive, because we got close. Maybe we can see what level 3 looks like. But challenge has to feel fair, and this just feels bad. So let's try again. I think my strategy was sound. So we're going to go Oh, you know what? You know, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait a second until the first guy starts to get a little bit closer, because I want this to come back. Okay. Okay, they're there. 1, 2, 3. I'm now on the cycle that I want. And then as soon as one of these guys disappears, I can plop him down. Okay, and we'll go to the other room. Plop, plop, plop. Okay, that's not bad. Now we're gonna cycle back around. I'm gonna hit this just because. And we're gonna go in here. About to lose him. About to lose him. Got those. Okay, got him. Nope. Nope. We ran out of star points. We have a deficit of star points. So we're gonna get some tree damage. And now these are all out of cycle. That feels fantastic. Okay, he's gone. He's gone. We were doing okay, and then I think using the bucket's what screwed me. Oh, we have a soldier that's gone. No, we don't. No, we don't. Okay, now we do. Now we do. Somebody should be disappearing here in a second. Okay, we made it. We made it. Okay, like okay, we figured it out. We barely made it with 4 health. I think the bucket was useless. I think you're supposed to use the. I thought you were supposed to use the bucket when they hit it, when they started hitting the tree. And then you can see over here, like there's presents back here that were like glowing, and I don't know if that's supposed to be them on fire. But like if that's supposed to be fire, I can't tell. Okay, let's see what we got this time. Watch out, the IBAT enemy can disable the bucket. Okay, well, I don't even know how I'm supposed to be using the bucket, so quickly defeat it before it reaches its target. So I'm assuming it can literally like fly over to and destroy the bucket. So now I can't do my strategy of back halving the map with soldiers because the bat will destroy them. So I guess we're gonna put them in this hallway, this hallway, this hallway, this one, and this one. So the reason I put him in the back hallway before is because there were 3 soldiers back to back that could really lay on these goblins. When they're in a lane like this, you can only do it one at a time. What can I do? I couldn't stop him from destroying the bucket. We're not gonna worry about the bucket. New strategy. Screw the bucket. We're going to have soldiers just like we did last time. And we're gonna go as far as we can. He's going after the bucket again. Unless I get a bunch of health damage, I don't care. Alright. Even if we beat this one, I think this might be the last stage we do. Maybe one more just to see how bad it gets. I have a soldier. Oh, I have 2 soldiers back. I think we're going to take a little bit of damage here, maybe. But we might end up being okay. I think this guy's going to go next. Look at this one. We're going to beat this one without taking any health damage. Okay, there's 3 up here. I don't know if that means what stage we're on. I can't click on this. It doesn't do anything in between. I think I can probably click on it during the game. All right, we'll use the bomb for a powerful attack against most enemies. Oh, then it just starts going. Okay, well, it's worked so far. We're gonna watch this guy. Oh, is that the bomb? How do I use the bomb? Special abilities sparkle when they're ready to use. They cost 10 points. The presents catch fire and do additional damage to the tree. So that's why I need the bucket. Here's the bomb. Okay, well. These guys are going to disappear before they can do anything. Are you going to blow up, or are you just going to hang out and think about it? So, I mean, I don't know if this loop is foolproof, but all I'm literally doing is cycling back through, hitting the bomb when I can, and then placing down the soldiers every time they go away. And so far, our tree's still at 25 health and it hasn't gotten touched, even though the bucket keeps getting hit. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna get stuck in a cycle of just one more because I just want to see what the next stage is doing, but we're gonna call that one there. So this game fulfills the aesthetic of challenge in a very poor manner because the mechanics are not easy to pick up. There's no variety in what I can do. I have one type of tower on a very limited set of resources. I don't have any agency over getting more of those resources. Like, a lot of tower defense games either have a variety in the types of towers, or I can upgrade towers, or just the whole mechanic of like, your towers are going to disappear over time. I think that's not fun, especially if the game's not going to clearly tell me, hey, your towers are gone. I just have to keep scanning through the map looking or watching for this, right? And I can do it on a cycle. That's why I was going the other room and then boom, 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 because then I could just keep looping through, but that's not fun. That's not fun at all. So I'm going to click next, but I'm going to quit. All right, so no crooks on Christmas. How about no thank you on Christmas? That one was not fantastic. All right, that being said, I've got a couple that I think are going to be good. So I've got one more that we'll play tonight. And this one is called Cave Stories Secret Santa. So this is made by developer Nicholas. I've heard some really bad things about them as a developer, that they basically stole Cave Story from the original creator. But I'm not going to go too much into the politics on that. What I am going to let you know is that these guys know how to do pixel graphics and retro-looking games really well. And this song is an absolute banger. You ready? You ready? So we will see if this game is any good. This one seems to be a stealth-based game in which I'm going around as Santa. So it is set in the Cave Story world somehow, I guess. I will say right off the bat, I can tell you that it's going for the aesthetic of sensation a little bit because it's hitting really hard on that nostalgia button, right? We've got like the old CRT monitor look. We've got the pixelated graphics that are done in a really good, charming way. So we'll see. We'll see if I can figure out the controls too. So enter key and arrows. Somewhere in the sand zone. Gather round, little ones. Have I told you the story about when Chaba tried to steal Christmas? So there's a little bit of narrative or story here. I'm assuming if I'd played Cave Story, I might know who Chaba was or who some of these people are. I have played Cave Story, it's just been a long time. I actually assigned Cave Story as a free option for narrative in class because it's hard to find a free game that told a story well. So Chaba and the other Gaudi tried to hatch a plan. It was the night before Christmas. They crept into everyone's homes and stole the presents. So you got a regular old Grinch story here. Well, Balrog overheard their plot and stole them right back. The closest house to the Gaudi hideout was Santa's. So they teamed up, and then... I don't know what I'm doing other than pressing enter. I'm playing though right now, so let's see. Pot. Pot. Turn off the lamp. Those, like, death spikes? Do we dare? We dare. Okay. So, Santa's house has got some death spikes in it for some unknown reason. Oh, what? There's cookies. I didn't see the cookies last time. There's a bookshelf. Anything on the bookshelf? It's a tall bookshelf. So I am trying to eat cookies, and I am trying to deliver presents, and an old health station that doesn't work, and okay. All right, I get it. So I am moving from house to house, delivering presents, eating the cookies and milk, and going up the chimney. Okay, all right. I can drive with this. The overworld map is very like old school Super Mario Brothers 3. I don't think I need to actually interact with any of the scenery here. Now, what we see here is that there's a robot up there, and I have to stay out of his cone of vision. Eat the cookies. We will deliver the presents. And we will escape via the chimney. Can I go through the door? Yeah, true Santa would never use a door. Of course not. Okay. So, again, music-wise, it's fun. Graphics are charming. The gameplay loop right now is really, really simple. Oh, somebody's sleeping. Uh-oh. Was I too close to them? It must be proximity-based. Okay. I want those cookies. Uh-oh. Okay, alright. Tree's not down there. Tree's up here. I mean, this one's doing a decent job of like adding something new each time. I don't know why they got disturbed that time. That wasn't too bad. So far we've gotten the cookies every time in the delivery. We can play a couple more stages and then I'll kind of start piecing together parts of the puzzle. So again, the first thing that we do anytime we're studying a game is we're looking for the individual mechanics that make up the way the game plays or the way the game was designed. Ooh, hold on a minute. I want those cookies. Let's go this way. Ooh, I might be in trouble. I might be in lot. Oh, no, he's not. He has a distinct pattern, but it's not as simple as just... Here, let's go like this. Okay, that worked. That worked. Okay, presents. Now that guy's coming back up here, and I don't want him to see me. Can I hide behind the tree? Yep. I do appreciate the cone, because the cone tells me exactly where they can see. There we go. So we're looking for individual mechanics. So right now, in terms of controls, it's very simple. I use the arrow keys to move up, down, left, and right. The only button I use to interact with anything is the enter key. So that's very simple. Ooh, I now have a choice. I can go up to the hallway house, or we can go down to the dark house. We're going to go to the dark house. There is the main goal of delivering the presents, as Santa would do. Try out my new light switches. Okay, now they're layering new things on there. I can turn on and off light switches. I could turn, ooh, do that. You know, the cookies are a fun bonus that I could probably choose to ignore if the going got rough. I like this mechanic a lot, right? Because it's risk reward. Like, I want to turn it on so I can see what's in the room. But I could turn it on and get myself into some trouble. But if I don't turn it on, I might not know of a threat looming ahead. So. But this is very clearly a stealth-based game. So the whole object is for me to do my job without getting spotted by the people in their homes. Right? Any good Santa doesn't want to get caught. And then it's kind of layering the stealth mechanics in. So there's cones of vision, there's proximity to sleeping people, there's light switches. So this actually isn't bad at all. I would say, you know, ooh, what's this? That's what I wondered. That's gonna make a lot of noise. Now, is that gonna draw somebody's attention? Is somebody come running to look at the duck? No. There's a hole in the wall, which is kind of weird. Is that a dog that's awake? Also, I can't go through there. Now, oh, can I push him? Oh, I can. Oh, you tricky. Well, okay, this is gonna get rough. Can I pull the blocks? I can. Okay. So I can push and pull blocks. Do that. I'm trying to get to the tree right there. Can I move this? Nope. What do we do? What if we go like this? I don't know if there's any like hard limit to the timer. It seems like it's just there to give me a goal of trying to do it as fast as I can. What does this say? Let's talk about the mess. Yeah, Okay, let's try this. Because then I could go... There we go. There we go. Presents delivered. Let's get out of here. All right, I'm gonna do like 1 or 2 more levels, and then I'll give my little breakdown here. But I don't mind this. It's not terrible. They're doing a good job of layering in mechanics, so that way it's got a little bit more variety. Certainly more than the last game, but it's not all at once to be overwhelming. Okay. Now, if I just stay here, am I gonna get caught? I have an idea. One of the things I like is that there doesn't seem to be a health or life system. I think I can hide in the chimney. No. I cannot hide in the chimney. Do I just need to haul it? I do. I just need to go quick. I don't like that so much because that one was simply trial and error. Where's this guy gonna go? There's 3 trees. There's 3 trees, and I can't wake them up. Please don't look my way. And the music's not bad. Is that chest back there something I can open? Huh. Okay. Go. Did I eat the cookies? I don't think I ate cookies yet. Cookies must be this way. Oh, they are. How do I do that? There's a vent. How do I make him leave? How do I make him leave? Interesting. I have an idea. That's why I'm going back this way. Also, this really puts it into perspective. Oh no! This really puts it into perspective that, Santa's just all about that breaking and entering, right? And in fact, it's encouraged and expected. Oh, crap. Here we go. We want Santa to break into our homes in the middle of the night and deliver us presents. Nothing to see here. Just a little B&E, ma'am. Go back to bed. Hey, I brought you a new bathrobe for Christmas. A pair of shoes. My elves made them for cheap. So here's what I am trying to figure out. I wondered, ooh, I thought I was hiding against the wall. We'll try this one more time. Then after that, we will break this game down and I have to start over again. See, I don't like that, right? I have to move immediately. And if I don't, then I'm going to get caught. I don't like that. I'm fine if the timing window is tight, as long as I have a little bit more control over it. Well, my thought was that chest that was in the other room, there's a chest over here, and I wanted to see if there maybe was some sort of mechanic where the chests were linked, where I could like somehow hop in the chest and then pop out of the other one. Also, 3 Christmas trees in your house. Growing up, we were always a 1 Christmas tree household, but as an adult, I've now seen many people that have a large number of trees in their home. One of our neighbors in our neighborhood, we were driving around the other night looking at Christmas lights, and they have 3 giant, I don't know what kind of windows you call them, like the giant picture windows that you can really see into their home. And so I think it doesn't matter what direction it's facing, but it's all kind of like the same face of their house. There are 3 of those giant windows, one in the center, one on the left, and one on the right. And they have a Christmas tree right now in each one, and it looks cool, but it's a little much. Being said, we have a couple in our house. We have our major one that's upstairs in our living room. We have one that's in the dining room that we actually put a bunch of Christmas cards on. We were going to put that one here in the basement, but decided since the basement's also the play area, we didn't want that down here with the little one. And then we got a little tiny one for our oldest daughter because she has a lot of her own ornaments and wanted her own tree. All right, so the chest thing didn't pan out. There's clearly a vent right there. And what I wanted to do was I thought maybe I could hop in one chest, pop out on the other side, or do something with getting in the vent. There's a light switch, but I can't. Oh my! Okay. What the heck? Oh my. What I did was I went to the side of that creature and I just hit the button and it smacked him with my sack of toys. Do it again. Boom. There we go. All right, now that I have that learned, I'll do one more level and then we'll break it down. And definitely come back Wednesday because I've got 3 more games coming up, and I'm also open to suggestions from other people for sure. Let's go left. Snake House. Oh, watch this. Yeah, that's not. You're just gonna keep flipping. That's easy enough. Okay. I do appreciate the cone of vision. Ooh, okay. Pry bar? Yep. Spikes, man, like that's just, it's an odd design choice, huh? It's like a succulent. Go, 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 go. Although I don't think succulents are at risk of killing people most of the time. Okay, we've eaten the cookies. We've delivered both of the presents. Let's just go. Now, is leaving gonna be more difficult than coming in was? I don't think so. I think it'll be fine. We just gotta make sure. Ooh, we gotta take this. Whew, that was close. It's like Metal Gear Santa over here. I'm down. I want to stick up here. His cones of visions are narrower up here. Push this to block him. And we'll leave the way we came in. Okay, so let's break it down. Okay, again, we talk about mechanics first. So there is the simple controls, which I talked about. Every level, you have to place presents under every tree. You have to leave through the chimney that you used to enter. And you can optionally collect cookies. I don't know what the bonus is other than that you ate cookies, but it tells you that at the end of the level. There's a timer, but the timer doesn't seem to be there for any reason other than my own personal goals. Like if I want to beat this level under 30 seconds or a minute, I don't think it actually affects anything. There are simple enemies that have cones of vision that will move back and forth that you have to avoid. There are people sleeping in the house that you have to not wake up. There are light switches that you can turn on and off for some better vision. There are vents that are usually blocked that you can open with a pry bar or a crowbar. And I think that about covers it. You also have this open like overview world map you can go over. Hey Kets, you're coming in right here at the end. So what I'm doing here is I was ranking holiday or Christmas movies at the beginning. So I don't know if you have any interest in that or have any familiarity with any of the movies that I would have talked about, but you can definitely go watch that later. And then I'm doing what a lot of streamers are doing right now, which is playing holiday games. But I am doing what I do in my game studies class, which is kind of breaking down the way the game's designed. So right now I'm listing off all the mechanics this game has. Okay, so those are mechanics. In terms of dynamics, that's how the mechanics work together, okay? So let me just hop into a level, right? So I can show you kind of how some of the mechanics are working together. Obviously, my primary way of doing anything is moving, so I'm constantly going to be doing that. My movement has to, okay, here's a great example of a dynamic. There's rubber ducks, and they're going to create sound. So if I do this, they're going to immediately go check out the sound. Now, you might be thinking like, oh, that's really bad. That's really bad because that means they're going to catch you, right? But I know where this is headed. Like, right now, if I step on that, it might be a mistake, but actually, check this out. If I step on it, they're going to come a-running. And now I can go do my job, right? That's a really cool, that's a really cool dynamic, right? Because I'm taking three individual mechanics. I'm taking my movement, which is kind of a given, but let's say two mechanics. The sound created by the duck, and that is then going to pull the enemies, right? Those enemies are normally stationary, but this is going to cause them to patrol and check out the sound. So that's a really cool example of a dynamic, and they could keep layering this in really interesting and challenging ways, right? Now I'm screwed. I can't leave the room because they're blocking my only exit. Now I can, and I'm going to try this in a second, I can bop one of them, but I'm wondering if I bop one of them, if it alerts the other one because they're right next to each other. Let's see if they layered that in. Right? Now there's no, I think it seemed like with the people that were sleeping in bed, if I got too close to them, it would wake them up. Presumably I'm being too loud. But these guys don't have that. I can walk up right behind them and they're not going to do anything. You know, if I walked into one, like if I hit down again, they might get me. But let's see if I do this. Now I can bop him and walk right. I can't go through him though. Oh, he didn't turn around. Interesting. Okay. So that's an interesting dynamic. Another dynamic would be, obviously, the longer I'm playing, the more the time's building up. But it's really kind of about, it's just about movement. It's about ducking into alcoves, and it's about learning enemy patterns. So here's just that explanation of the dynamic, right? So I trigger the sound, I go around the pistol, or the pillar, and I go around. And I've eaten the cookies, and I've gotten the present, so I'm going to leave. This one is a very short level because it's just teaching you now a new dynamic. It's teaching you to use sound to draw enemies. That's pretty cool. Let's go to one more level and see what other things they have built in there. Because that one went in a little bit different direction. I might go replay an old level to show this off. Okay, here's the new mechanic. Stepping here is a pressure plate that turned on the fireplace. I have to get the fireplace to turn back off before I can leave. So, here we go. Now, okay, once again, I think odd design choice for you to have a bunch of spikes in your house, but whatever. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip on this light switch. Okay, this room's empty. I thought maybe that would be a problem, especially because there's a duck here. Let's go in this one. Oh, that woke up the person and the dog. Dog, we haven't seen the dogs yet. So let's step on this. Oh, I got caught immediately. So here's something that I don't care for too much. Okay. I think it's great that they're using the duck in different ways, right? The last one, I wanted to step on the duck to draw the enemy. This one, I don't want to step on the duck because I'm going to wake up the person. I don't like that I have to figure that out through trial and error. What is nicely designed about it is that I don't have a life counter, so I can screw that up and restart, and I've lost seconds. That's it. That's fine. It also looks like I can probably go through this open vent. Flip that, it's gonna get dark. I don't know if that really matters, but we'll leave it on for now. Oh, okay, there's more spikes. Okay, there's somebody sleeping there, so I'm not gonna hit the light switch. Where's the tree? Oh, there's the cookies. Okay, so again, there's a dynamic, right? The way that the light switches interact with the sleeping people, or the way that the duck interacts with the sleeping people. If I flip on this light to get more visibility, it's going to wake up that person. Now, the cool thing about the lights is if I flip them off right away, I can actually save it, right? So it's not an instant fail state. It's one that I can turn back off really quick, and then I'm fine. So that's kind of an interesting dynamic, right? So at its core here, we're just looking at a very simple stealth game that's layering in things like light and sound. Now, the other thing I noticed on the previous levels was when I got too close to the sleeping people, they started to stir. So if I go like this, yep, they're starting to stir. I have to stay at least one square away from them. But oh, I was one square. It was diagonal, but I was one square there. I was too close. So this will be the last level we do. So we're not going to step on the duck, but we are going to go through the vent. Leave the light on because I didn't see a reason to turn it off. In here, we're going to go around this guy and get the cookies. As long as we keep our distance, we're good. Okay, we're going to go down to the... I'm going to flick the light on and close it. Okay, that room is useless to us. There's no reason to get around those guys because there's nothing in there. This looks to be like a kitchen. No Christmas tree here. We already have the cookies, so I'm not worried about that. Now, I can't go through here because the vent's tight. So here's what we're gonna do. Interestingly enough, that's also not like one of the bug characters from before. This is like a child that lives here. And it looks like their movement pattern's just a little bit different. They're going to go up and turn back around. So as long as I stay here, I should be good. So we're going to put presents. And then we're going to grab our crowbar, presumably. And then we're going to go in. Now. Okay, here's the weird thing. The fireplace is still on. I never turned the fireplace off. So let's see. Can't just walk straight up because of the spikes And you gotta get an inspector to come in and take care of those spikes, man. Oop, I almost stepped on the duck. That would have been bad. And I can't leave because the switch or the platform got triggered when I came in the house. All right, so how do we turn off? Can we use the door because the chimney's not accessible? I doubt it. Yeah, true Santa would never use a door. What if I stand in front of it? A roaring fire. Oh, wait a minute. I have an idea. I almost stepped on the duck. Okay, there was a kitchen. I think that kitchen was intentional. Let's go to the sink. Okay, what about the fridge? Jellyfish juice. Oh, shoot. All right. We're going to speedrun this one. We got to see how that works. I got to see if this is the way to do it. Okay, avoid the duck. I said avoid the duck. Okay, we're going to go this way and get the cookies. You guys might be able to hear it. I got a furry one that just came into frame. Our cat's here. We'll go this way and do the presents first. You want to go upstairs? I'll get you up there in just a minute, okay? I didn't know you were stuck down here with me. So yeah, sorry, I was getting a little wrapped up in the game here, but the dynamics that we saw the interaction with the lights, we've seen the interaction with the sleeping people, the ducks, all those kinds of things. So kind of these cool, simple little things. Now, the next layer we talk about are the antagonists. So the antagonists are anything in the game that presents challenge. Now, one of the things my students kept getting hung up on was they were simply describing antagonists as like, oh, all the different types of enemies in the game, right? So if you're talking like Mario, they would be listing. There we go. And then you get some charcoal from that. Interesting. I wonder if you can use that for anything. But they would list like, oh, you got Koopas and you got Goombas and you got fire bars and you got whatever. Because if you talk about antagonist in like the most literal sense, like in a literary sense, antagonist is kind of like the person that's at odds with your main character, right? They're like the villain or the bad guy. In video games, antagonists are it's different than that, right? Because think of a game like Tetris. All right, Tetris doesn't have like characters, so it doesn't have like a classic antagonist. So in a video game design sense, an antagonist is anything that provides an obstacle to the player's progression. So in a game like this, yes, I could list like the bug guys or any patrolling characters that move down the hallways. I could list the spikes. I could list the fact that I have to deliver presents to progress. If the timer was counting down rather than just ticking up, I could count time as an antagonist, but I really can't use that here. The fireplace was an antagonist. The vents being inaccessible was an antagonist, right? It's anything that's like blocking my progression. In Tetris, the antagonist would be, if I'm playing on a time limit, it would be the fact that my win condition is, or there isn't really a win condition, right? I'm eventually going to fail, but it's like filling up the rows. Like antagonists would be like gaps or holes in your Tetris blocks, or it would be not having control over which tetrominoes you get, right? Like an antagonist is like the game's going to randomly throw you a block and you have to be able to slot it into your strategy. Some Tetris versions have time limits, or it's the idea that as I continue performing well, the game's going to speed up. That speed is an antagonist. It's anything that's creating challenge or blocking my way. So this game's got plenty of that. It's got the traditional enemies. It's got, again, the light switches and the spikes and the vents and all those. So that's good. In terms of the main aesthetic that I think it's going for, at first I thought we might get a lot of narrative because it opened up with that little story beat, but I'm kind of glad that it didn't. Just like, nope, we're going to hop right into the stealth game. Santa's going around delivering presents. That's the game. Cool. So then again, if we look at our aesthetics, you have things like sensation, fantasy, narrative, challenge, etc., etc. A game like this, I think it's hitting sensation a little bit, because again, if you look at the style of it, it's got that retro 8-bit-ish look. That same thing with the sound. You know, we talked about this with games like The Messenger, with games like Shovel Knight. If they're trying to evoke the retro look using modern hardware, that's an argument for sensation, especially if they pull it off well. And if we go back to the main menu, the way the game opens here, I think does a really good job. So I'm going to let it go and do that again, right? But the way that it just plays the song and has the fireplace flicker, that's really good. Like, that's sensation right off the bat. But then I don't know that it holds up so well after that. It's got that retro look to it, but it's not really doing anything wild with it. So I wouldn't call sensation its primary aesthetic, because sensation is all about activating your sight, your sense of touch, or your sense of sound, and that's kind of like the core thing the game's doing. I would argue that the main core theme or aesthetic of this game is challenge, right? It's the challenge of delivering the presents without getting caught, or delivering the presents and escaping through the chimney. And so that's a very, very simple core gameplay loop. And then what this game is doing, right, is it's taking that core challenge, delivering presents and leaving, and it's saying, how do we iterate on that? How do we build on this as a stealth game? Oh, well, we could have obstacles that you could step on that would make noise. We could have light switches you could activate. We could have people that are awake in the house. We could have dangers in the house. Again, I think the spikes are weird. Like, I'm sure that those spikes existed in Cave Story and that's what they're pulling from, but like, why would people have like these bloody looking spikes in their homes? So I think there could have been a better alternative for that. Like seriously, go with like an actual cactus, like a succulent plant. Be like, oh, you don't want to get poked on that. Sure, people would have those maybe. But I would say this definitely hits challenge. Now, does it do challenge well? Kind of. I think it does a really good job of layering in the mechanics. And the first stage, you know, if I hit the first one, I'll go back to this level one more time. I think all it literally does is have you delivering a present and leaving through the chimney. There's no lights, there's no enemies, there's no nothing. It's just, I place the presents and I leave. And then when we get to the next level, I think it shows you the first enemy. Let me just go back to it and see. And so in that sense, the game does, yeah, look, okay, there's the cookies. It's showing you, hey, spikes, which again is kind of weird, but it's at least showing you they're going to come up. And then it's like, hey, showing you a target on the present, so I know that I need to go there. And then a target on the chimney, so I know I need to leave. Oh, I never had that happen the first time. I never accidentally stepped on the plate. Okay, well, there you go. That's actually really cool. It's tutorializing that part in the first level if you encounter it. And now I have charcoal. I wonder if I can use the charcoal for something. Huh. Charcoal has to have a use. I don't know. Wild. Okay, that's cool. What I was gonna say is the first stage is very simple, right? It's just, here's the core loop. Pick up the cookies, deliver the presents, get out. But then when we go to the next stage, this should be where we see an enemy for the first time. Or not an enemy, but somebody in the house. And in this one, it's really simple. It's not even a moving, patrolling character. It's just like, hey, there are going to be characters in this game that have cones of vision, and you don't want to step in that cone of vision, because if you do, you're going to get caught. And then as the game keeps going, it's layering those in and in. So in that sense, it's doing challenge really well, because it's not throwing me into a complicated map right off the bat. It has spikes and has ducks and has people sleeping and has patrolling enemies and has fire and vents and all that. Like, we just did a level like that, but it built into that. So that's good. That being said, I think it kind of falls short in that some of the things I can only do through trial and error. That's not good game design. Now, the game's very forgiving. There's no life system. There's no game over system. I can fail something and try it again immediately. So I'm encouraged, I guess, a little bit to experiment. And all the levels are really short. But I still think there's a better way of signposting to the player about what's going to happen without forcing them to do it through trial and error. There was also that stage where if I didn't move right away, the enemy was going to spot me, and I did not care for that. I don't think that's a good idea. I think what should have happened was there should have been like a buffer at the very start where I was safe, like being able to hide in the chimney like I tried. And then once I get down into the level, then I'm at risk. But I should be safe where I start. I shouldn't have to immediately start moving. Not when the rest of the game's not consistently built that way. But I would say that this game is fairly successful so far at living up to the aesthetic of challenge, because it has these simple mechanics that it is layering in one over the other to make a satisfying and somewhat fun stealth game loop. And on a secondary level, it's lumping that together through a pleasing visual style and some retro 8-bit sounding music that is kind of fun to play along through. So, there's my short analysis of, what is this, Cave Stories Secret Santa? So, please join me on Wednesday. We have 3 more games to cover, and I think the best in terms of those games is still yet to come. I may even snag or sneak a few others in there. Also, please consider making a donation to Mental Health America. Again, we were wonderfully blessed with the raid that came in last week and dropped in over $1,000 on our donation goal, which was just truly a blessing and something that was fantastic. But I would love some more donations coming in here at the 11th hour. If we hit $1,100 total, which we're at 1,018 right now, then I will be doing a Fortnite Duos stream with my wife here shortly after the Christmas holiday. And then we also, through that donation or that raid that came in, absolutely smashed our sub goal. And so I would love for you guys to vote on the next race and gender combo that I will be using in Final Fantasy 14. And so if you follow this link, then you can vote for what that will be. And so now's a great time to do that. The shop in Final Fantasy 14 has a sale on the item that allows me to change my race and gender. It's normally $10. It's on sale for $7. So we'll do that now and get that taken care of once I get some results in there. So we will continue this on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we are going to be looking at least 3 more games. And those games are... Whoops, I started Discord. I didn't want Discord. I wanted Steam. Those are going to be Ho Ho Home Invasion, Little Helper, and Tiny Stories Santa Closes. Ho Ho Home Invasion has actually been around for a couple of years and is pretty well acclaimed. And Little Helper seemed kind of haphazard, and the last one has kind of this charming black and white look to it. So we got 3 more fun games that we will tackle on Wednesday and talk about them and analyze them just like this one. So thank you guys so much for sticking around with me. Hopefully I didn't anger too many people by putting poor rankings for your favorite holiday movies, but I hope that you guys have a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or whatever it is that you celebrate this time of year, that you get some time to rest and recharge the batteries before you go back to work. Hopefully all of you are getting at least a little bit of a break, a little bit of time away, even if it's short. Please try to take advantage of that and find something to do for yourself, right? Sleeping in, staying up late and playing a video game, cozying up to a good book, treating yourself to some good food, like whatever it is that you can do, catching up on a TV show you missed out on, whatever it is. So take care of yourselves, and thank you so much for joining, and I will see you guys on Wednesday as we go through this process one more time. So thank you so much for joining me. Please consider making a donation, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. Take care of each other.